Have you ever caught yourself wondering, how long will I actually live? Maybe it slips in quietly while you're sipping tea on the porch, or after a friend tells you about someone they know passing suddenly. It's a question most of us think about but don't always say out loud. And if you're over 70, that question can start to feel a little more urgent. But here's something you might not know: science actually has a few clues. Not in crystal balls or palm lines, but in everyday patterns, habits, and subtle signals your body and mind are already showing. That's right, there are certain traits, small behaviors, and even attitudes that researchers say can hint at a longer, healthier life. In this video, we're going to talk about 7 subtle signs that might mean you're on track to live longer than you think. They're not about being perfect, or about having no health issues at all. They're about quiet indicators, things you're probably doing right now without realizing they're connected to longevity. So let's start with one that surprises most people: your social circle. I'm not talking about being the life of the party or having hundreds of Facebook friends. I mean having even just 1 or 2 people you talk to regularly, who truly listen to you, and who you care about. Studies have shown that seniors with strong social ties live longer than those who feel isolated. It's not about quantity, it's the quality of those connections. Even a weekly chat with a neighbor or checking in with a sibling can strengthen your sense of belonging, and that, believe it or not, supports your immune system and lowers your risk of chronic disease. Now here's another signal, one that's often brushed off: curiosity. If you're the type who still asks questions, still wants to learn new things, who wonders what the moon looks like through binoculars or how to fix that squeaky door hinge, congratulations. That natural curiosity is linked to longevity. Why? Because staying mentally active doesn't just help with memory, it helps with emotional regulation, stress reduction, and even physical activity. People who stay curious are more likely to stay engaged, and engagement, in all its forms, keeps your brain younger for longer. You might be thinking, that's all good, but what about physical health? Well, here's the third subtle sign: you move. I'm not talking about running marathons. I'm talking about how often you get up and walk around. Whether it's tending to your plants, dancing a little when your favorite song comes on, or walking down the driveway to check the mail, even low-intensity movement makes a difference. Longevity experts have found that people who stay physically active, even in gentle ways, tend to have better cardiovascular health, stronger bones, and reduced inflammation. So if you find yourself pacing while you're on the phone or stretching in the morning just because it feels good, those are excellent signs. Let's pause here for a moment, because I want you to hear this clearly: living a long life isn't about doing everything right. It's about listening to your body, trusting what brings you peace, and honoring the rhythms that work for you. Many of the signs we'll talk about today aren't obvious. They're quiet little habits, simple thoughts, and comforting routines that add up in powerful ways. Now, before we continue, take a moment to reflect. Do you feel like you still have purpose? Do you find meaning in your days, whether it's through helping others, creating something, or simply being present for your family? That sense of purpose is another hidden signal we'll dive into next. But first, let's take a breath and appreciate what you're already doing right, because chances are, if you're watching this, you already have what it takes to thrive well beyond 70. Let's talk about something that doesn't show up on a medical chart but has just as much impact as any blood pressure reading: a sense of purpose. You see, people who feel like they still matter, who wake up in the morning with something to look forward to, tend to live longer, and not just by a little bit. Research from around the world, including a famous study in Japan, has shown that seniors who report a clear sense of purpose, whether it's taking care of grandchildren, keeping up a garden, volunteering, or even just feeding the neighborhood cats, live significantly longer and healthier lives. Purpose doesn't have to be big. It doesn't mean starting a business at 75 or climbing mountains, unless you want to. It can be as simple as being the one who always makes the best coffee in your building, or the person who remembers everyone's birthdays. That kind of emotional role has real value. It keeps your mind alert, your body active, and your spirit grounded. Now let's move into another surprising area: emotional resilience. If you've made it through hard times, and let's face it, after 70, most people have, you've probably built up more emotional strength than you give yourself credit for. People who bounce back from setbacks, who learn to let go of grudges and forgive themselves or others, are far more likely to stay well into old age. That resilience doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means feeling the hard stuff, moving through it, and still showing up for life. Think about this. Have you ever looked back at something you thought would break you, but it didn't? That's not just life experience, that's longevity fuel. The ability to stay hopeful, to adjust, to say this isn't how I planned it, but I'll make it work, that's powerful. And it's been linked to everything from lower inflammation to better brain health. Alright, here's something a bit more physical, but still subtle, your sleep patterns. If you're someone who still gets decent sleep, maybe not the deep 9-hour nights of your youth, but solid, restful sleep, that's a great sign. Seniors who maintain consistent sleep habits tend to live longer and experience fewer chronic health problems. And it's not just about quantity, it's about quality. If you fall asleep without too much trouble and wake up feeling reasonably refreshed, your body is likely doing a lot of behind-the-scenes repair work that contributes to long-term health. Sleep, believe it or not, is one of the biggest healing tools we have. During sleep, your body processes stress hormones, your brain clears out waste, and your immune system strengthens. That's why maintaining a relaxing bedtime routine, even something as simple as a cup of warm tea and 5 minutes of slow breathing, can make a big difference over time. Now, I want to bring up something many people overlook when talking about aging well, your relationship with food. And I don't mean being on a strict diet or counting every calorie. I mean having a healthy, intuitive, respectful relationship with eating. If you enjoy meals, if you listen to your hunger cues, if you choose colorful, whole foods most of the time and treat yourself now and then, congratulations. That kind of balanced approach has been shown to support healthy aging far more than restrictive or yo-yo dieting. Longevity isn't about avoiding chocolate forever. It's about enjoying your meals without guilt, chewing slowly, eating with others when you can, and choosing foods that make your body feel good, not just for today, but for the long haul. If you're the kind of person who makes your own soup or keeps fruit on the table, you're already supporting your health in a way most people underestimate. Let's take a moment to breathe here. Because when you really think about it, living longer isn't some secret club you have to earn your way into. It's a rhythm, a lifestyle, a set of soft habits you build day by day. And more often than not, the signs are right there, quiet, consistent, and already part of your life. In a moment, we'll explore 2 final signs that science says might hint at a longer, more fulfilling life. But for now, ask yourself this: do I still smile at small things? Do I find joy in routine, peace in solitude, or strength in routine? Those answers, more than any test or tracker, might tell you more than you realize. Let's pick up where we left off, on that quiet moment of reflection. If you've been nodding along, recognizing parts of yourself in what we've talked about so far, then you're already doing more for your longevity than you might think. But there are still 2 more signs that scientists, and real-life experience, say are strong predictors of a long, vibrant life. The next one may surprise you: your curiosity. That's right. People who remain curious, who still ask questions, try new things, or learn something just for the fun of it, tend to live longer and enjoy those years more fully. And it doesn't have to be some big academic pursuit. It could be as simple as wondering, what happens if I try growing tomatoes on my balcony? Or can I finally figure out how to use this darn smartphone? Curiosity is the fuel of the brain. It keeps neural connections alive and healthy. When you stay mentally active, when you remain engaged with the world around you, whether through reading, puzzles, storytelling, or even watching educational videos like this one, you're not just passing the time. You're keeping your mind young. Studies have shown that older adults who maintain mental flexibility and a sense of wonder tend to be sharper, happier, and yes, they live longer too. And finally, here's a sign that's often overlooked, but it's one of the most powerful: you know how to ask for help when you need it. Let that sink in. Being independent is wonderful. But being interdependent, knowing who you can count on, and being willing to lean in when necessary is one of the best things you can do for your health and your heart. Seniors who live long, fulfilling lives usually have one thing in common: they aren't afraid to reach out. Whether it's asking a neighbor to water the plants, calling a friend just to chat, or saying yes when someone offers to drive you to an appointment, those little moments of connection matter deeply. They reduce stress, prevent isolation, and create a web of support that can carry you through anything. It takes strength to admit when we need a hand, but that strength is part of what keeps us going. So if you're someone who values connection, not just giving help, but receiving it, you're on a path towards something deeply resilient and life-affirming. Now, let's pause for a moment. You've made it through this entire conversation, and maybe you've found pieces of yourself in each sign. That you still enjoy a laugh. That you love your morning tea. That you've forgiven someone. That you still like to try new things. These may seem like small things, but they are not. These are the building blocks of a longer, better life. Living a long life isn't about perfection. It's not about rigid diets, endless exercise, or obsessing over every little symptom. It's about presence. It's about paying attention to what brings you joy, peace, and strength. And most of all, it's about staying engaged with life in whatever way feels right for you. So, if this video gave you something to think about, or better yet, something to feel hopeful about, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us, which of these signs do you see in yourself? Or someone you love? And if you found this helpful, give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're here to remind you that aging doesn't mean slowing down. It means living smarter, stronger, and with more intention than ever before. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Wherever you are, whatever stage of life you're in, may you find joy in the ordinary, strength in your journey, and peace in knowing that it's never too late to live well. Here's to your long, beautiful life. You deserve it.